You know, have you ever been in a meeting, you're listening, you think you're tracking, and then it hits you? The words are flying, but they're not quite connecting.
That disconnect.
Exactly. It's subtle sometimes, but even with the best intentions, it feels like information just gets lost somewhere. It's a huge challenge, actually, in today's workplaces.
Surprisingly common one.
Right. So today we're taking a deep dive into this whole world of modern management. We want to explore how leaders can navigate all this constant change and, importantly, cultivate real collaboration.
Yeah, genuine connection.
Our mission really is to pull out the key insights, maybe some surprising facts from these excerpts we've been looking at, from modern management, navigating change and cultivating collaboration. Think of it as a shortcut to getting up to speed on, the evolving leadership landscape.
And we'll be focusing specifically on things like effective communication, how to actually do it, embracing change, which is easier said than done, leveraging all the diverse skills people bring, and critically, how to stay relevant.
Relevant?
Because it's fascinating, isn't it? That often the most simple breakdowns, the smallest miscommunications can just ripple outwards and have these massive impacts.
Okay, let's jump right into that communication piece then.
Yeah.
There's this classic challenge in the material that just nails it. Picture this. A vice president, they've got important stuff to share, right?
Yeah.
But they're talking to the general workforce using terms like UCP, PPC, OCI, UPH, UPI, those internal acronyms.
Right, alphabet soup, yeah.
Totally.
Well,
so how are the frontline staff, the lowermost cadre, as the text calls them, supposed to grasp what these obscure metrics mean for something vital, like their safety? It's like they're speaking completely different languages.
It is, and that right there highlights this really dangerous assumption that people will just get what you mean. It's automatic somehow.
Right.
But the real challenge for leaders now is staying relevant by understanding the audience's language, their world, what matters to them. It's not just pushing info out, it's making it relatable, connecting it.
Otherwise, it just doesn't stick.
Exactly, won't land.
And there was another story that really drove this home for me. 2 senior VPs from HQ. They put together this perfect presentation, concise, beautiful slides, all about the company vision. Super knowledgeable guys.
Okay, sounds promising.
Yeah, you'd think. But at the end, they asked for questions. Silence. No one had any issues, and worse, no applause. Not even from the managers there. They just left quietly, clearly embarrassed.
Oof. Awkward. So what happened?
Well, the material says the associates literally had no idea what the meeting was about.
Seriously.
Yeah. They were expecting, big news, job security updates, wage increases, maybe bonuses, practical stuff, not this high-level talk about business direction. That felt like manager talk to them.
So the VPs were just too disconnected, too remote, as the text says.
Completely. And if you zoom out, it shows that even if your delivery is flawless, if the message doesn't meet the audience where they are, address their pressing concerns, it fails.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? What is your audience actually expecting to hear from you? Are you even asking that question?
So I guess what this really boils down to for you, the listener, is you've got to learn to speak multiple languages, right? You need to understand your manager, sure, but also the people you manage, their perspectives, their priorities.
Otherwise, that message you polish so carefully, it might just vanish into thin air, unheard.
Okay, shifting gears slightly. These communication issues, they get even trickier when you layer in how much the workplace itself is changing.
Oh, absolutely.
The material really emphasizes that smart companies are constantly evolving, and people's attitudes to work are shifting too. This is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah, these are fundamental changes. We're seeing things like tenure not meaning as much as it used to. External hires are becoming more common for senior roles.
Right, that loyalty factor is different.
It is, and managers are getting younger, taking on big responsibilities earlier. Plus, significantly, more women are moving into senior positions, really shaking up those traditional paths.
And remember those VPs in the story. The associates actually pointed out they were not even 40 years old.
Ah, interesting detail.
Yeah, there was this kind of grumbling, that tenure didn't count anymore, promotions weren't just straight up the ladder. People stick around now more for retirement benefits, not necessarily climbing that corporate ladder. It feels like a whole new game.
It absolutely is a fundamental shift. We're moving towards what the text calls information-based decentralization of job functions. More task and project-focused work.
So less siloed?
Exactly. The old functional silo mentality just doesn't cut it. A modern manager needs broader skills across different disciplines. They need to be team leaders who can bridge gaps, share a vision. It really poses a big question for everyone. Are you actually tuning into these changes, or are you still operating like it's, 10 years ago?
So the manager, or the player, as the source calls them, needs these new skills, managing change, handling conflict, managing knowledge itself. It's way beyond just technical expertise now.
Much more dynamic, much more human in a way.
And that idea of buy-in and shared understanding links right into innovation, doesn't it? Traditionally, you might think of change agents as outsiders, consultants maybe.
Right, someone brought in to shake things up.
But this material argues that no, the modern manager is the key change agent. They have to nurture ideas from their own teams.
And there's a great anecdote about that. A manager, after going to some seminar on relevance, had this idea, a new simple process for customers.
Okay.
He'd apparently been nursing the idea for a while, but, lacked the confidence to actually propose it.
Been there.
Haven't we all? But when he finally did, it was welcomed. Not just welcomed, but put into practice in less than 1/3 the time expected. It broke this period of silence of innovation they'd been stuck in. He even got kudos from senior management.
Wow.
What's really fascinating is just how a little bit of encouragement, maybe that seminar shifting his perspective on relevance, unlocked so much value. It broke through those internal barriers.
That really gets to the heart of it then. The message is managers need to be actively looking for innovation, encouraging people to actively discover and share their opinions.
Yeah, because those little ideas, the ones maybe dismissed easily, can actually trigger significant innovations.
Yeah.
It's about creating a space where people feel safe, even encouraged to speak up.
Not letting good ideas get buried by fear.
Exactly. Another quick example. A manager working on training slides for packaging. Simple enough. Meanwhile, an associate over in returns had been thinking, hey, our department needs something just like this for the same product. They happened to connect, found out the company already had the materials needed.
No way.
Yeah, both departments benefited hugely. And it wasn't some grand strategy. It was, as the text says, the whims and courage of one manager being open to that connection.
Serendipity almost.
Kind of, but it highlights that priming for innovation means keeping those channels open, looking for those unexpected links between different areas.
So, for you listening, innovation isn't just for the R&D folks down the hall. It's about how you can foster ideas right where you are, connecting those dots, encouraging people to share. How many great ideas are just waiting for someone to ask?
Powerful question.
And that collaboration, it means tapping into all the knowledge on your team. Sometimes the most valuable skills are like hidden in plain sight.
Yeah, definitely. There's this really striking story in the material about a quality assurance group. They were really struggling trying to train people to spot fake product returns, getting bogged down in technical details.
Tough.
It was, until someone who happened to have some IT training in commercial security spoke up. Totally different background.
Okay.
They suggested looking for tiny variations in logos or brand names, italic characters, numbers hidden in the name stuff that counterfeiters use to fool internet robots.
Ah, clever.
Super clever. And that one simple suggestion led to finding 40 items increased for further investigation as potential fakes that same afternoon.
Wow, 40 items.
40 items. Saved the company significant amounts of money. Just makes you stop and think, doesn't it? What hidden talents, what unexpected expertise might be sitting right there on your team, just waiting for the right question.
That's such a great example of why diverse perspectives are crucial. But it also hints at another challenge, ensuring everyone's actually on the same page, right? Shared understanding.
Oh, definitely.
The material mentions a test. They asked 120 managers to define a common company code, something they use like 5 times a day.
I couldn't agree.
Different departments had wildly different ideas about what this basic code even meant.
That acronym confusion again, it's amazing how common that is.
Isn't it?
And it just shows how critical it is to consciously harmonize their language within the team subculture. The manager, the player, needs to build this mental fractal analysis. That's the term used.
Fractal analysis.
Okay.
Unpack that.
It basically means developing this layered understanding of all the different viewpoints, seeing how they connect, recognizing the unique skills and the unique ways people see things, understanding their background, their frame of reference.
So you can build that common vocabulary.
Precisely. Because assuming everyone understands the same term the same way, that can lead to huge inefficiencies, real confusion, even on simple stuff.
So digging into that personally, how well do you really grasp the unique skills, the perspectives, even just the basic definitions used by the people you work with? And can you spot where those differences might be causing friction or misunderstanding? It's often subtle.
The small things add up.
Definitely. Okay, let's widen the lens now to external pressure. Markets change, industries shift. Our source material reminds us that these forces also demand adaptation. So what does that mean for leadership?
Well, there's a stark cautionary tale about a railway company. Very traditional, very proud of its history. It flat out refused to change its name or even sponsor a sub-company when road and air travel started taking over. Insisted it was purely a railway business.
Uh-oh, I see where this is going.
Yeah, it eventually just shut down. Competition simply outpaced it. And there's a similar story with the U.S. Post Office, struggling against agile players like FedEx and UPS, and now facing things like Amazon's drones.
Right, disruption.
Exactly. The big picture here is that smart managers have to be ready to respond, even if the future isn't perfectly clear. It's about building agility, prioritizing relevance over just sticking to tradition.
And these external shifts are also fueling changes in leadership models themselves, aren't they?
They really are.
That whole idea of the generalist manager, someone who works their way up slowly through one company, that's becoming less common.
It is. Now you see these highly specialized professionals, engineers, lawyers, accountants, moving into senior roles much faster, often skipping those traditional steps.
Which creates its own challenges.
It does. It leads to what some call the best technician dilemma. Your top expert, your star engineer, might actually prefer staying in that technical role. They enjoy the craft, the intellectual challenge.
Especially if they're well rewarded for that expertise.
Exactly. If there are comfortable reward packages for staying technical, why take on management duties they might not even want? The text mentions newscasters preferring the screen to producing, engineers loving the pure challenge.
Right.
So the question becomes, how do you reward and retain those top performers without pushing them into management roles they're not suited for or don't desire, losing their core skills in the process? It's tricky.
It's a huge talent management puzzle. And the material even touches on situations, like in some cultures where doctors run hospitals without specific business training.
Ah, yes.
And it describes these real tensions in the boardroom, the doctor's perhaps unquantifiable emotions clashing with the capitalist-minded investor and the business-trained administrator, different worlds colliding.
You can just picture it, that clash of perspectives, priorities. Ultimately, what this points to is that managers need to get really good at optimizing the specific skills of these knowledge workers, rewarding them with learning, challenges, maybe autonomy, not just promotions.
Beyond the traditional ladder.
Right. And they also need the emotional strength to handle these conflicting pressures. And critically, being willing to genuinely share power and control to actually let changes happen. It's less top-down, more collaborative power.
So thinking about this evolving landscape, shifting markets, new leadership styles, how ready are you to truly embrace specialists, understand what motivates them, and manage change by sharing power, not just hoarding it?
That's a big ask.
Wow, okay. We've covered a lot today, from getting communication right, making it truly relatable.
So understanding those big shifts in who's in the workplace and what they value.
Seeing how innovation can spring from unexpected places inside the organization.
The absolute need to tap into diverse knowledge, even the hidden stuff.
And finally, that imperative to adapt to market forces and new ways of leading. It's quite a journey.
It really is. And I think the core idea that keeps coming through is that modern management isn't some fixed formula. There's no single technique.
Right.
It's about building this really adaptable approach. It's about deeply understanding your people, their context, and embracing that role of being a manager of change, a navigator of conflict, and a real cultivator of knowledge. It's constant learning.
Constant learning, constant listening, constant evolving. So maybe the final thought for you to ponder is this. Given how fast everything is changing, management, markets, technology, what language do you need to learn next? Not just to keep up, but to actually lead effectively in the workplace of tomorrow. How will you actively nurture that change and collaboration around you, ensuring your message doesn't just get sent, but truly gets received?